Welcome, everyone, to A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp,
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
here on 88.1 FM, KPPP, LP, Fargo, Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. And tonight, I have a very special show for you. I'm going to be talking about Otro Lado lawyers in Tijuana. Special report by Oscar El Blue Ramirez from Border Network News. Welcome to the show. Oscar, thank you for being here. We'll get to him in just a minute. But you guys can even see him on screen. There he is. You can wave at him if you want, Oscar. I'm going to announce some important information first about our trip to San Diego. We're going to be going to San Diego to a conference. We'll have some information about how you can support our trip there. I'd really appreciate it if you could help get me to San Diego, because I am going to be presenting at the ABS conference about borderlands, and we're going to be talking about fake activism that we're going to be exposing and showing how these people are really acting for political gain and exposing and exploiting the caravan. Also, I want to thank everyone out there that sent me information, especially about what's been going on with Border Network News and Oscar, because what they've been reporting on that has been happening with the Al Otro Lado lawyers, what's been happening with these fake marriages and other information that Oscar is going to bring you tonight is very important. So thank you to all of you that sent me that information out there. Duke, tell people how they can get a hold of us, please.
Oh, most definitely. There's several ways to get a hold of us. You can go to kpppfm.com. That's kpppfm.com. That's our main website, and that's where we put our shows, and we put our audio podcasts up there. And also, you can get a hold of us at Facebook, 88.1 FM Fargo Moorhead, the People's Press Project of Mexi-Can. You can find a public page of Cindy's at Cindy Go Schempp. You can also tweet us at media_PPP. And old-fashioned emails, Cindy at kpppfm.com and me, Duke, at kpppfm.com. Now, when it comes to going to kpppfm.com, you can find, like I said, our shows are there, and we put our videos up on YouTube. You can go to Duke1517 on YouTube, and that's my YouTube channel. And you can find all the Mexican Crossing Lines uploaded in high definition video. And when you're at kpppfm.com, you also have an audio file. We tend to edit the audio files for radio play and put them on the air locally in the Fargo Moorhead area. And, also, when you're at kpppfm.com, Cindy still needs to raise some money to be able to go to San Diego. We're really getting close, but we need some more donations, and it's going to pay for the travel costs, and it goes through a nonprofit. So go to kpppfm.com/donate, and at the top there's a post that talks about the trip that Cindy's going to take and what she's doing and why we're raising funds. You know, we live a long ways away. We're almost in Canada up here in this central part of the United States, and it's a long ways, and our flights are expensive because we live out in the hinterland, and we're not a big city. So travel across that large part of the country is very cost prohibitive, and we need to raise the money to be able to go there. And it's a legitimate tax-deductible donation because it goes through our nonprofit, because it's connected to our nonprofit work.
Right.
So please go to kpppfm.com/donate and look for the travel fund and make a donation today. Thank you.
I wanted to thank people at Border News Network. I wanted to especially thank the people that are seeking to tell the truth about what's really going on with this caravan, because as we know, there's an investigation happening right now with Interpol, with the American Homeland Security, and with Mexico's authorities of groups connected to Pueblos Sin Fronteras. Why? Because there has been kidnappings, there has been illegal trafficking of people, there has been false marriages. We've been reporting on all of this. I'm going to bring in our guest tonight, Oscar El Blue Ramirez from Border Network News. Welcome to the show, Oscar. You have some new information about the three missing children that were taken from the Agape shelter. Can you talk a little bit about what the update is?
How you guys doing? Thank you, Cindy, for having me again on your show. I want to say hi to Duke and to Nemo. Hi, Nemo, and to all the people in Minnesota. First of all, can I say something real quick?
Yes, of course. Anything.
I want to say hi to my partner that he's working so hard to keep Border Network News going. And I want to say thank you to all the followers through Cindy and Duke that they have been supporting Anthony Agüero. Support Anthony Agüero and follow Anthony Agüero, my partner, and Border Network News. Thank you so much. And yes, Cindy, we have a particular update. This I said it in my show, but as the days go by, we get more updates. The warrant for the arrest for Nicolas Esteban now is in full effect. As yesterday, they were applying. The pastor was applying for the warrant for the arrest for this guy from Guatemala. That he was the security guy that was in charge of that shelter in particular. And the next day, 10 people were lost. The pastor couldn't find them, and the accusations of all the immigrants were that this guy in particular was the one that it was offering everybody, and it was instigating everybody to cross illegally to the United States by the amount of $250 to $500. Now, in those 10 people, 3 minors were lost. One of them escaped, and the 2 of them are missing. The 2 of them, one of them is 14 years old, and the other one is 17 years old with a kid that is a year and a half. I want to point out something that I haven't said in Border Network News, and I'm going to say it right here with you, Cindy.
Yep.
When we were doing the tour right there at the particular shelter, the pastor has different sections for for security reasons, and he has a section where it's all minors. There's only one person that is over the age. She's an adult, and she's the one that maintains the order right there in that particular room. I remember clearly the girl that she was 17 years old with a child of a year and a half. I got in there. I was talking to every single one of them. I was like, "Hey, how you guys doing? How they been treating you? How was your road over here? Why are you guys over here unaccompanied? Why you guys are not here with parents?" And one of them in particular told me, "Do you have a way for me to know somebody to cross to the United States?"
So basically,
I was like, no.
So basically, she was asking you if you knew a coyote and could introduce her to someone.
Yes. And I said, this happened to me too. And it was some funny stories. I have funny stories about people asking me. They tend, because we are, broadcasters, they intend to think that we have all the connections for them to cross illegally. Or they don't know that we are against all this illegal movement against the United States. So this 17-year-old was the one that asked me. And I told her, no, you got to go in to the door. So she asked me again, how many months do you think it's going to take me for me to get the political asylum? And I said, it's going to take you around 8 months to 12 months to see if you get an answer. And she said immediately, no, that's too much. I'm going tonight. I said, where are you going? So I immediately told the pastor that she was going tonight, and 3 nights later,
she disappeared.
What happened?
She disappeared.
Yes. So she was getting desperate. This is what happens, Cindy. Right now, I think that we already know, and the audience already knows, the audience that knows that I've been hearing my broadcast and your broadcast. The movement of this left, what they're doing is they're flooding the courts with all the asylum seekers. Every time that a big busload of people go in, they lift their hands and they claim asylum, and they take them to the particular ICE, detention centers or shelters that they are managed by ICE. And after that, they give them court dates for the people that they're doing the things right over here in Tijuana. And they want to put a political asylum number, it pushes them back. Why? Because there's a lot of court dates for people that just cross, through the port of entry, and they're waiting for a number. So because they are already there, they give them the privilege of getting first the court date, and then, the ones that they want to do things right. So that's why they get desperate. They get desperate because it's too much waiting. They get desperate because they're claiming that they're treating them wrong. They get desperate because they claim that they're suffering, and they're coming suffering all the way from the south, and they just want to cross and live life as easy as possible. So that's regarding this Nicolas Esteban
Mm-hmm.
is the guy that they're looking for.
Put up his picture,
He has
Duke.
a warrant. Yeah, he
Put up
has a
his
warrant
picture.
for. Yes.
I was just telling Duke to put that picture up so we can look at this guy. I know you went to Facebook jail for putting out his information, but we're going to put it out here on a Mexican Crossing Lines, Sebastian Nicolas Esteban. This is the man that is accused, and there's a warrant out for his arrest now, correct?
Yeah. Yes. In Tijuana, there's a warrant for his arrest. The thing is that yesterday the immigrants went to the police department to fight against the judge or the police officers that they gave the police report. Why? Because this is what happened. Look how corrupt everything is, and it's funny, Cindy, because now I laugh at all these things because this is my country. This is Mexico. This is the way it is. The evidence was all there when they got there, when the police department got there to get Nicolas Esteban. All the evidence was there. Now, they told the pastor, gather all your the people that they're going to declare against this guy and meet me. You can go in the police department around so-and-so time, and, he will be there for you guys to accuse them of trafficking and kidnapping. So they went there, and when they got there, the police report said that it was because he was disturbing the peace.
Disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct, yes.
That's
so
it.
That has nothing to do.
Right.
So the rumor is that he got in his way over there. There was an arrangement between him and the police officer so they can change the police report and he get released. So he had like two people inside the shelter that they were working with him.
Oh.
And he made the mistake of calling another one when he was, to tell him that he was not going to stay that much in Tijuana. So guess where he's going? He's going to America. So they can find him right now. The warrant is out there for his arrest, but it's going to be basically, impossible to find a guy, only one guy that is hiding, and that he has humongous possibilities of getting the political asylum and living on a shelter over there in the United States with an ankle bracelet. So, probably he's over there already, Cindy.
So I just want to give you guys all an update. This is what the pastor said to me about this whole thing. He mentioned that he wanted to give me an update on these two girls. If you could throw the pictures up of the girls that are missing, Duke. There's also a 1.5-year-old child of the 17-year-old girl, which is in the gray sweater. Well, they're both actually gray, the dark gray. The point is that these two young ladies, these two unaccompanied minors, he says, have not been located in the U.S. Oscar, you had a different view of that, and you just relayed to us that you talked to the 17-year-old girl when you were there, and she told you she wanted to get across, and would you introduce her to a coyote? So your thoughts are probably she is in the U.S., right?
Yes. Yes, she's already over there. There was another, there's too many incidents. When you're over there, you get to see too many incidents. When I went to the other shelter, that it was Little Haiti. It was funny how I was parked outside. It was a mess. To get there is a mess. I was parked outside and I went to my car, and this particular guy from Haiti, he and a woman were washing clothes in a rock. And this particular guy approached me and he's like, "Hey, man, can I ask you for a favor?" And I said, "Yes, go ahead." He's like, "Do you have a bag of luggage?" I said, "Yeah, well, I don't have one, but if it's urgent for you, I will try to find you one." And he said, "Well, but my wife, she's leaving today, later on tonight." I was like, "Oh, she's going back to Haiti?" And he's like, "No, she's going to the States."
Oh, wow.
So like, how do you? I told him, "No, man, I can't." I'm against all that particular conduct that you're about to do later on tonight. Oh, there's only a bag, yes, but you're giving me to be a part of a federal crime. No, man, no. So it's just funny stories. They take it so normal, Cindy. it's so normal for them to get to a city and to be like an Airbnb place. They just rent for a little while and they just stay for a little while, and then when it's when they're ready, or the coyotes already went down a little bit on the price, they go there and they go by 500, and the last that they can go is 250. So these people, they suffer for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 250. Let's go. That's how they're working now. So it's so normal for them, and nobody has the authority to control that anymore. It's just so ridiculous. Everything in our city regarding immigration, it's just nobody has control. The federal government, nobody has control. Marcelo Ebrard, the head of international relations, the one that went and reaffirmed the pact in Marrakech, he just said openly that they're not going to close the borders, that they are going to be open and migrants are going to come, and they're going to try to control the immigrants, but they're not going to close the border. So imagine that. And every time, our president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, opens his mouth about the immigrant issue or somebody questions him, he answers the same one. He goes, we are going to protect our immigrants. They're going to migrate, and this is our movement. So you don't get him out of that. So particularly, this is going to continue. It's a mess. It's completely a mess, and every border, Cindy. It's not only Tijuana. And Arizona is horrible.
Right.
Arizona is horrible, man.
Right. And then we've heard
and that border. Oh my God, it's horrible over there. El Paso, don't even talk about El Paso. El Paso is little Cuba now.
We've been seeing all of the images
little
from the
Cuba
border.
Is El Paso.
I just wanted to mention something. This came from the pastor, Albert Rivera, and it speaks to what you were saying earlier about the situation with the asylum requests. He said the truth about the situation of the asylum requests to the United States and the truth about the caravans is that if an immigrant decides to apply for political asylum in the United States legitimately, they have to get a number. And in order for their number to be called, they have to wait 3 or 4 months. When they get called, they get an appointment with a judge within 45 to 60 days, but they're deported in Mexico waiting for that appointment in the United States. Here's the problem. At our shelter, this is him speaking, at our shelter, we've had a lot of immigrants that get desperate and they decide to jump over the border wall because they can just lift up their hands and say, I want political asylum. It's difficult to believe, but it is true that many of those who decide to go into the United States in this illegal fashion, jumping over the border wall, are liberated within 3 days from detention facilities. And the judges, the immigration judges in the United States that let those people go within those 3 days in U.S. territory, what happens is they're supposed to return for their hearing date, right? But, okay. But when the immigration judge liberates people within 3 days of being apprehended, then those immigrants call their friends back in Mexico and they tell them what just happened. And they say, hey, I just crossed and asked for political asylum and I'm not in the detention facility anymore. I'm out walking around free. So those immigrants in Mexico realize, what am I doing? Why am I waiting, months after months after months after months when my friends are just calling me to tell me they're free in the United States after just 3 days? So
yes.
this is a big problem because nobody wants to wait an average of 6 months to do things correctly, to do things legally, when we know that there is an incentive for these people to cross illegally into the United States.
Yes, and the number one thing, close to what you're saying too, is that they found some loopholes in these. So these loopholes, they know how to manage them. That's why the United States needs to push for immigration reform. Mm-hmm. The laws of the United States are more weak than the laws of the immigration in Mexico. Imagine that. So they found these loopholes that if an immigrant crosses legally through the port of entry to the pedestrian walk, and he makes a line. And when he goes to the United States Custom, and he's right there next to the officer, and he lifts his hands, he's not committing no crime because he's not crossing illegally. He's crossing legally and claiming asylum. So they take them, and then those people get their court dates between 15 and 30 days. But the ones they jumped the fence, they just violated trespassing and crossing illegally to the United States, but they claim asylum. Those people get court dates by 30 to 60 days. Mm-hmm. So that is why they're bussing them in. Mm-hmm. Bussing them. They're crossing legally, claiming asylum, and they get 15 to 30 days and they let go. So that's why the court dates are flooded, but they're trying to make them so they will have more fluency. But it's just ridiculous, the people that they want to do things right. I just gave you a video that I sent you a video, a message. And I was early this morning, I went to the border of Chaparral, and it's exactly the same thing.
Wow.
There's a lot of people right there waiting for claiming asylum.
Right. And one of the things that we continue to hear is that the people that are requesting asylum are being coached. They are being prepared. They are being taught. We circulated on this program the flyers. We showed you the flyers they were handing out. They look like they're for elementary school children. It has the picture of a hand, and on each finger there is a number. And those are like, it's a mnemonic device to help the immigrants remember how to pass their credible fear interview. The lawyers from Al Otro Lado and workers from Al Otro Lado that have practically invaded Tijuana since the caravan started coming, they are saying, and you just confronted them recently, Oscar, they are saying that they're not doing anything wrong, but you caught them. You caught one of these lawyers admitting to you. I'm going to play a really small clip here in a minute, but I want to show the pictures first. While you talk, Oscar, I want you to describe to my audience what happened on the day you were filming and a worker from Al Otro Lado came and told you to stop filming in your own country. They were telling you in a public place, you cannot film me. What happened, Oscar? Tell about that. Let's show the pictures.
And not only that, not only the lawyers, the Antifa movement and how they communicate is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I got there really early in the morning, and my purpose was to front all these lawyers and to tell them off to get away and to go back to their country and practice the law and stop motivating immigrants to cross illegally to the United States and stop the trafficking of children. When I got there, Cindy, I am surprised. And right now I am surprised. And tomorrow I'm going to go again, and I will be surprised. It's just a lot of movement. It's so ridiculous. And it's in front of the federal government. It's in front of federal Mexican police officers. It's a lot of movement. And there was a particular Russian guy that it was walking back and forth. Mm-hmm. He was well-dressed. I'm like, what? A guy from Russia has an iPhone 10. It was big. And he was talking on FaceTime and looking back and forth and looking at the children that they were on the walkway and they were waiting for the asylum. It's a lot of movement. And when I was there, I was filming at the time. I was standing, and a particular lady approached me. She was nice when she approached me. But the words that I can't remember the exact words. I don't want to lie. But I believe that the words were saying, excuse me, I know that you're pressed and I know that you're working, but there's a lot of sensible people over there. And I said to her, yes, are you American? She said, yes. Oh, I'm Mexican. I'm Tijuana citizen. So I have the liberty to record as much as I can. Yeah, but they're sensible people. I'm like, I asked her again, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, I am a U.S. citizen. For which organization you work for? And she goes really happy, Al Otro Lado. And then immediately I go like, come on, man. You guys are making fake marriages. And her response, her face, you can't see her face because she was putting the hand like this for me to not to turn around the gimbal, or it's a selfie stick that has motion movement.
Right.
And she didn't want me to move, so she had the hand like this.
Wow.
So she goes, yeah, we're doing that, but we don't do it anymore. Something like that. And it was a ceremony. And after that, I go, you're hurting the sovereignty of my country. You're hurting the sovereignty of the United States. And immediately she shook her head and she went away. And it's amazing how everything is so connected, Cindy. After that, I was watching her movements. She put the hoodie on. She grabbed a phone call. And after that, I started to feel surrounded. I was feeling surrounded. There's another video in Spanish. There's another video in Spanish that I confronted 3 lawyers. And I told them, what are you doing over here? None of them responded. I told them, go back to your country. Go practice law in your country. Go help your country. Stop trafficking children. Stop trafficking people. And they went away and they didn't came back. But after that, there was a lot of movement of these punks that they're Antifa behind me. They were circulating me. They're not going to do anything, but they want to intimidate you to a fact that you go. So they really pushed me back a little bit till I went to the police officer. And I talked to the police officer because he knows me. So, I told him, hey, if something goes really weird, I'm going to make a little signal for you to get out of the car or the unit and, approach me so they will go away. And after that, he got out and I finished the broadcast right there. I go to my car, Cindy. Look how ridiculous this is. I go to my car and I start, I'm watching my surroundings because I don't know what the hell's going on over there. It's a lot of movements. It's so ridiculous. The trafficking that is going on over there. It's just it's an open market for people. So immediately I see this American woman walking all dressed in black with shades, and she looks at my car and she walks like this and he looks. I'm like, this is wrong. So I got out of my car and she was standing at a corner.
Yeah.
I approached this woman with my cell phone and I go, what are you doing over here? If somebody approaches you with their cell phone and coming towards you, you're gonna tell them, can I help you with something?
Right.
But it wasn't like that. She immediately started walking, fast walking to where the lawyers were, and I started telling her, which organization you coming from? Al Otro Lado? Stop trafficking children. Stop trafficking people. There's a lot of these people, Cindy. A lot of them. It's just packed. And that video, the other video that I showed you, it was from today. This is 250 to 300 people right there every day. And, not to extend myself, you go and ask them and they say, we're volunteering.
Right.
So let me just rephrase that word. We are volunteering. What are you volunteering for? They already have the number on their hands.
Right.
They are making a line. What kind of volunteering are you doing? Are you cleaning their sweat? Are you just giving them a massage? Are you going to give them food because you are not carrying food? So what kind of volunteering? It's not volunteering. It's coaching them in the law to how to break the loophole to cross illegally to the United States. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think that there's a reason why Nora Phillips from Al Otro Lado, one of the founding members of that organization, lawyers of that organization, was deported. It was because she didn't tell Customs that she was there to work, that she was there to meet with the migrant caravan. Instead, she said she was there on vacation. Why would you need to lie to Customs and Border Enforcement? Why are you saying when you cross, and we've showed screenshots of Bridges of Love Across Borders, Bertie Gutierrez, very connected also to Al Otro Lado, also to these organizations from the Rapid Response Network that are helping these members of the caravan get to the other side, saying, don't talk to the Customs and Border. Don't tell them what you really do them. Don't tell them you're taking donations. Don't tell them you're volunteering. Tell them you're there to shop for one day. Tell them that you're there for a picnic. Buy some things that look like you're just there to go have a good time, so that they don't think that you're there to work. That's wrong. They are admitting that they are lying to Customs and Border to get inside. Why are they doing that? That's the reason why Nora Phillips got deported. I wanted to show a real small clip from that video where this lawyer admits, listen as she admits, that they were doing something with these marriages. Here's that clip. I'm going to translate.
I'm stopping them. These two ladies right here. They're holding up paperwork and sheets. I think that we have a person from Russia right here. I don't know what is he doing over here. In a few moments I will go ask. This is the line for the political asylum people. Hello.
Can I talk to you?
Dígame.
Sure.
Usted,
Bueno,
es,
like,
sé que usted
I mean,
está con
I know that
prensa
you
y está
work
haciendo su
with
trabajo,
press
pero
and you're
este
doing your job, but
aquí es un lugar muy delicado.
this is a
y para
very
muchas
delicate
personas
situation.
es
The
muy
people
peligroso
here,
que
it's
sean
very
¿Ciudadano
dangerous
de
for
Estados
them.
Unidos?
Are you from the United States?
Soy ciudadano de México.
I'm a
Sí,
Mexican
es un
citizen.
lugar público.
This is
y
a
la
public
verdad,
place,
puedo
and
grabar.
I can film
Sí, ya
here.
sé,
Discúlpeme,
pero
señorita.
I know
es
that.
que hemos tenido
Excuse me,
casos
madam.
en que personas han,
There's been cases, though, where
¿Puedo hacer una
people are...
pregunta?
Can I ask you, can I do an interview with you?
You're from the United States,
I
right?
am from the U.S., yeah.
So you're working with which organization?
Al Otro Lado.
Al Otro Lado?
Have you heard of us?
Yes, I heard of you guys. Come on. You guys are doing some bad stuff over here. Yes.
We're giving people
No, you're
legal
not.
information.
You just made a fake marriage and I have proof of it. I have proof of it, of that fake marriage. I have proof of that fake marriage.
It's not a fake marriage. It was a
It's-
ceremony.
yeah,
And we've
you-
stopped doing that.
Well, yes, you guys are doing that to cross illegally to the United States. You're hurting the sovereignty of the United States and you're hurting us.
All right.
Do you understand? These are the type of lawyers, people. These are the lawyers right here. These right here, I just evidenced them. And I just talked to them. They're right there, there are four of them. There are four of them. Right there.
Oscar, this is truly incredible. She has the audacity to tell you to stop filming in a public place. And then when you question her about the fake marriages, she says in this condescending tone, it wasn't a marriage. It was a ceremony. And we're not doing that anymore. Excuse me, I have a question for you. Because, Oscar, you've seen the marriage certificate. You saw the marriage certificate signed by people that were witnesses working for Al Otro Lado that were officiating over this marriage. It says marriage certificate. It didn't say ceremony certificate, did it?
These people really, Cindy. This is how I laugh when I see something, and I see these kind of things, Cindy. Hopefully, you will come to San Diego, and I will take you over there, so you will see how ridiculous this is. This one was extremely ridiculous. She basically admits it right there that it was a fake marriage to cross people illegally so they can qualify for asylum, so they can cross illegally to the United States. These people should be prosecuted for treason to the United States. They're committing a federal crime and they're betraying their own constitution. They're violating a loophole that they found to cross illegally to the United States. This is so ridiculous. It's not only one, it's two, it's three, it's four, it's five, it's six, it's seven, and eight. And they take turns and they go back and forth and They try to find a customer. It's a rally of selling people to cross illegally to the United States.
And if these people don't think that what they're doing is incorrect, let me just show you. This is the PGF 1 through 8, Duke. This is a document that was taken. The Procuraduría, I can't say the word. La Procuraduría. Hicieron una denuncia. They made a complaint, a criminal complaint against these attorneys for the fake marriage. Here's the documents. I've shown them to you in the past. Here's page 2. You can see this. No, go to the next one. Go ahead and go to the next one, please. I just want you to see. This is from the Procuraduría General de Justicia del Estado de Baja California. You can see the name of the person. It's one of the people that was fake married by these folks. It says right there, fraude. That translates easily into English, doesn't it? Fraud? Let me show you the next one. And here's another one of the pages. It's extensive. We got a couple more. I just wanted to show you once again that these crimes have been reported. There it is. Signature, seal of Mexico, signature of the migrant that was defrauded by these lawyers from Otro Lado. Why do they insist on saying that they are only volunteers? Then Anthony Agüero posted the pictures that we just showed you on his page, and Al Otro Lado's attorney, Nicole Ramos, came on to his page to argue with to argue with the reality of what they're doing.
Oh my God, man.
To give these canned answers.
How professional are they, Cindy?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like that, to be honest with you. Let me tell you something. I never told you this story, Oscar. But when Duke and I were going to get married, I thought it would be nice to get married in Mexico, in La Playa. I really...
Otro Lado, Judge.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get married in Mexico on a beach, somewhere nice. And it's really hard to get all of the documentation, the blood work, the tuberculosis. You have to get a chest x-ray so they can tell that you don't have any communicable diseases. And it was going to be so difficult. The process was going to be such a big deal. I decided we'll just go there for our honeymoon. We'll get married here. It's a big, big deal. You can't just be like printing out marriage certificates and handing them out and doing these ceremonies that don't really mean anything. If they don't really mean anything, why were you coaching the migrants to use them in their asylum claims? Why are you posting? In your own pages, these lawyers have said that they can give the migrants a letter signed by lawyers that will say that they're not supposed to be separated from each other. They're not supposed to separate them from their husband, from their wife, from their spouse, from the couple. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be separated anyway. Well, when you fake a marriage or a ceremony or whatever you want to call it now, and you use it as a basis for a legal process, that's fraud. That's fraud. It doesn't have another name.
That is what is so ridiculous, Cindy. It is it's getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so out of hand. We've been people that we're telling the truth right now. We've been getting a lot of death threats now, that because things are really escalating right now, Cindy, to the point that right now is where the ball game starts. Right now we're playing now with fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just openly just putting evidence right there to everybody. How dirty these people are working, Cindy. They are working dirty. They don't care about if this is an ex-criminal and this is a pedophile, and you have to ask for a pardon first to go to the United States. No. You come over here, Maria, and get him married. And that way you can cross illegally to the United States. That is the way that they're working. What ethic did they have? They don't have no ethic whatsoever.
And excuse me, but when you are working hand in glove, like Nicole Ramos from Al Otro Lado, with somebody like Pitaya Queen, this transgender Mexican-American student from Harvard that has been accused of in Mexico of sex trafficking children. This was an accusation made by El Jardín de las Mariposas in a press conference. I saw it in the news many times in Mexico. Then I have a question for you. How ethical are you? I mean, you're arguing that you're ethical, but how ethical are you when you are working hand and glove with people that have been accused of trafficking children?
You know, that I saw. I'm sorry, Cindy. Something fell off over here, and I don't want to be disrespectful to you. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. Are you okay?
You know, something happened when he came over here. I remember that guy particularly. I remember that guy. And they rented, you know, like a hacienda. How do you say hacienda? I don't know.
A villa, a mansion, a small.
Okay,
it's a villa.
They rented a villa.
Yeah.
As an Airbnb. You don't even imagine how expensive that part is in the particular city. It's really expensive.
Oh, I showed pictures of it. It looks like a little mansion.
It looks like a little mansion. And this declarations, they took pictures of this guy on the next day on Starbucks. They took pictures of this guy on the next day in restaurants. You know, this guy was having the time of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, a week or 2 weeks later, we don't know nothing about them.
Disappeared.
Absolutely nothing. And recently, talking about this, you know, this particular LGTB and all these, you know, people, they have a particular shelter right here that I'm going to go next week. It's called Arcoiris, Casa Arcoiris, something like that. Rainbow House, something, or Rainbow Love, or something like that. We had, I had an interview with a guy that is from Mexico. Look how sad it is, Cindy. This is real sad because people in the United States that they live far away, they don't realize that this is an invasion. Really, it is. In our country, it's getting invaded from top to bottom, and in the United States, only the borders right now. But this guy that lived in Mexico City, I was interviewing him, and he was almost crying. He migrated to Mexico, to Tijuana, and telling us that Mexico is lost. That the poor people in Mexico, they don't have no rights. That a whole avenue that is called Insurgentes is full with the LGBT community. That they're selling prostitution. They're drug addicts. They're delinquent. They're, you know, doing whatever the hell they want. And it's just that we are losing our country. And the cultures and the pyramids, they go and do the necessities over there, Cindy. The security is not, they're getting overwhelmed. It's our country is getting damaged, and now, but this LGTB right there in Insurgentes in Mexico is getting damaged too. They don't respect nothing, Cindy. Wow. There's no respect for authorities. There's no respect for the uniform of the Institutional National of Immigration. There's no respect for the police department, the federal police department. They don't respect nobody.
And you have new reports. You have a contact down at the southern border of Mexico that is giving you new numbers. You gave me some of those numbers earlier. I can wait for you to grab your notes if you want, but I wanted you to report to people about the 7,000 Africans, the 3,000 Cubans, the 5,000 Central Americans, mixed group in Tapachula of about 3,000, and another mixed group of migrants of 3,000 in Mapastepec, and another 600 in Tuxtla. What else did you know about this group of people that has arrived at the southern border?
Well, you know, there was an incident that they already, you know, I think they already seen the video about Africans, you know, damaging the building, the federal building, the Institutional National of Immigration, throwing chairs and breaking the windows.
That's crazy.
It was pronounced. It was announced like a riot.
It was a riot.
Yeah, it was a riot.
And this is not the first time that these riots happened at Institutos del Inam. That stuff doesn't happen here in the United States. I just want you to I want you to know, Oscar, that is unheard of here. I mean, rioting, yes, but in detention facilities by migrants? I never heard of such a thing.
They don't. This is what I'm saying to you, Cindy. This is socialism. Welcome to the New World Order attitude. This is, they don't respect no authority. The rumor is that an agent from Institutional National Immigration detained an African, and the detainee was struggling, and he was fighting the agent to go to the detention cell.
Wow.
So they pulled him back, and immediately a woman hit the agent on the back, and all hell got loose.
Oh my God.
Everybody started throwing chairs, and everybody started throwing everything. So the Marines got there, the federal agents got there, the SWAT got there. It was a big mess. And only because of behavior of one.
Wow.
And this has to do a lot, Cindy. It has to do a lot with the timing that they are there. That they're not giving right now humanitarian visas or work visas. They're not giving anything about that. So they stay there for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and they get tired of it. And one of the biggest complaints of them is that they don't have enough bathrooms, that the food is horrible, and that where they live in is just there's a lot of diseases. A lot of people are sick. You know, women are pregnant. I don't understand. That's another thing. That they saying the contact is saying that there's a lot of pregnant women there.
Holy crap!
Why, Cindy?
What?
Those are the typical anchor babies. Why, if you're pregnant, why are you in this caravan? Why are these women getting married before they put the political asylum? Why? Why are they getting pregnant? I've seen a lot of them, Cindy. You go to the shelter and you ask them, how many months you've been here? 5? How many months you're pregnant? 3? What the? Why? Why are you gonna get pregnant in a tent?
Now, you told me that the report that you received is that there is some stuff going on with lawyers at the Mexican southern border also.
Yes.
And these lawyers are ripping people off, or at least they are lying to people and charging money for the process.
Yes, there's he was about to send me the documents. He's going to get the documents, so we'll have this, so we have proof
Evidence,
about
right?
that.
Sure.
He's on his process to doing that, but this is what is going on. Because of the office that gives the permissions to get the work visa, the humanitarian visa, or to be circulating in the whole country, it's closed. Suddenly, all of a sudden, lawyers have started arriving, in particularly to one special country or island, Cubans, particularly to Cubans only. And they started asking them if they wanted a paper that says that you are available to transit in the whole country and to go to the north to ask for the political asylum. And this document is a fraud document. So the weird thing about this, Cindy, and it's assimilating to how over here they're working. It's kind of like the same, organization. It looks kind of like the same. Why? They're charging exactly the same amount. 2, why they're charging in dollars? They're charging $500 for each document.
Wow.
And 3 is not a loyal document. So what does that tell you? That it has something to do with some organization from the United States. There's a lot of rumors that these organizations, I heard about that in the past, that they're in Chiapas and they're in Guatemala, waiting for people like this to take advantage of them and to just, commit a fraud document.
So basically, they're telling people, we can give you a document, a legal document, that even though they're not handing out humanitarian visas so that you can transit through Mexico with no problems, we're going to give you a document that does the same thing. And we're going to charge you $500 for it. And then they make them believe that they are now have free passage through Mexico, when in fact that is completely false.
Yes.
And that when those people, most of them Cubans, are detained, are stopped and questioned, they will probably be arrested and deported. That's what's going to end up
Yes.
happening to those people. So
Yes, there was. Yes, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, so this is something that Inami knows is happening. They're aware of the fact that there are people that have these false documents traveling around thinking that they're free to go transit through Mexico and go up to the U.S. border to request asylum.
Yeah, the Institutional National of Immigration is aware of these lawyers committing fraud with documents. Now, the thing is, Cindy, that we're not talking about just 2, 3, 5, 10 people that they have done it. It was a big amount that he just told me. Around 1,700 of the Cubans were lied to about this amount of documents and this quantity of money. I will get the evidence, so we will, have the proof about those documents and the document that they're using. It's just a lot of people. This is an organization, Cindy. Like I told you in the first live that we did. Remember what I told you. It's a mafia. It's a mafia on the South Door. They're really organized to traffic people, to traffic drugs, to traffic guns, to traffic children, to traffic organs, to just have an arrangement already with the LGTB, with the transsexual to cross them illegally, and it's already arranged in the United States. They're selling people. They're doing all types of disgusting stuff, and nobody has control of. And this is one of the little things that is over there. And our person in charge of immigration, Sanchez Cordero, Olga Sanchez Cordero.
She has made a statement publicly that they're charging them. She has made a statement they're making about $6,000 per person in some cases.
Look, that statement backfire on this person, on this particular woman, that 2 or 3 months ago, she gave a statement that everybody's welcome.
Right.
Everybody, they have jobs for you. Come over here. Everybody's welcome. They call her the grandma of the immigrants. Everybody's welcome. Now, all of a sudden, she made the statement that this is a billion business. This is a mafia. It's out of control of trafficking of children, organs, people, money, drugs, everything. So they're going to do something about it. Why do you think she started complaining, Cindy? Do you know a little bit why?
I think that it's becoming more and more evident that...
No.
Oh, what is it then?
The speculation is because she's not getting no money. Because she's not getting anything. Because nobody's telling her how much they're trafficking. Because it's too much. Remember the guy that got stopped from Pueblos Sin Fronteras, that he was trafficking people and charging 500 pesos for each and one of them?
Yep, the young guy.
Why they stopped him? They didn't stop them because Pueblos Sin Fronteras is the big rumor that is already arranged in the whole country. They stopped him because he was making money, extra money, with the immigrants, and he was not reporting that to the federal government.
He was caught skimming.
Yes. It's a big deal. It's a big mafia.
It's
a big mafia. It's out of our hands.
I was just doing a little bit of math here. 1,700 times 500, that's almost $900,000. It's $850,000. I mean, that is
on one drive.
That's one small caravan of people. Wow.
This is a billion business. It's a billion business. It's too much. It's too much for people. This is why, we right now, we are the only ones that we're communicating. It's a few of us, Cindy. It's a few of us. It is Ben Berquan, Paloma, Anthony, Will Johnson, you, me, Liberty League, other fellas. We're trying to do our job.
¿Por qué?
He's frozen.
Why is he frozen?
I don't know.
Did somebody call him? Is somebody calling him?
We're still connected.
Nope, not anymore. Why don't you call him again? Let's try again. See what happens. Looks like we lost him for a minute there. We should be getting him back. Hopefully we'll get him back. There he is.
There he is.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry it got cut off. I'm really sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying that, we're trying to show the public how is this so big? It's so big. And the United States is asleep. Really, Cindy, they're asleep. They thinking that this is something that is just we're gonna send the National Guard and that's it. President Trump is just gonna call, close the borders and that's it. It's done. No, immigration reform. This is the start of probably one of the worst invasions in Mexico that ever happened. And we are only a few of us that we're communicating, and it's because it's the truth, Cindy. It's the truth. This is a mafia, and it's against a big mafia, Cindy. It's against trafficking the children, drugs, guns, and organs. Is $1 billion. You've seen it. 1,700 per 500 per person is almost $1 million, and that is only on 1,700 people. The number that they're saying that is almost in the United States right now is 1.6 million now.
No, man.
So
That's crazy.
Imagine that.
Oh my God. Well, we don't invite you to come and talk to us about happy things. We invite you to come and tell us about the truth. And it's not pretty. What we are hearing is not good at all. There is a giant caravan headed our way. I don't know what it's going to take for Mexico to be able to stop the flow of people, the unencumbered flow of people, especially when we have a president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, saying that he's going to continue to allow this to happen in Mexico. He's not going to do anything really to stop it. I want to bring Oscar back next week to give us another update. Oscar, is there anything else that you want to tell my audience before you go?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you. I would like to say hi to everybody in Minnesota. A great idol of mine that you already know who it is, Cindy, is Emiliano Zapata. He was a great revolutionary. I'll be open a little bit. My father figure was not there when I was young. So the only father figure that I had was Emiliano Zapata. I dreamed that he was, I dreamed that he was my dad.
There he is.
And he's my idol. And, the example of him is to basically fight for the land.
Yep.
Fight and fight and fight for the land, because the land is of the people. Is not of the government, is of the people. And that's what we need to do. We need to stand up. We need to start fighting. We need to fight against the socialist movement, and we need to fight and unite as neighbors and fight against this international pact of immigration to get us out, pour our hearts out, to put all this message out, so the people from the left and all these organizations and activists, they are not going to win, Cindy. Nothing is going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop my partner. Nothing is going to stop you. We are going to continue, and we are going to work so hard that we are going to win.
Well, you know what? One thing that I can tell you is that I have seen on this in these groups, I've seen a lot of incompetence. Not just lying, not just fraud, but a lot of incompetence. I always say, de 100 no sacas a uno. De 100 no sacas a un solo individuo que sirva. Out of 100, you don't even get one functioning human being. So we put our heads together, Oscar, me, you, all of these fine people that are telling the truth. We're going to be stronger, and we're going to have an army of people. Con poquito somos muchos. That's what I think.
We are few, but I consider myself, I always consider myself, since I was real young. I saw this thing that it was for me, it was so unfair. And after that, everything blew up in my mind, that I was living in a country that is so unfair, that everything is so unfair, that they take advantage of people. And, that blew me up into fight against this corruption and fight against all these movements, Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
I will answer whatever questions you guys want to ask me, Cindy. If you guys want to ask me questions, that's okay. I will answer. I have time.
Okay, cool. That's great. Well, one of the things that I wanted to go through, let's get your reaction to some of these screen captures, okay? I want to talk a little bit about what Al Otro Lado said. Try not to get too angry because this stuff is kind of crazy, but here we go. Starting with screenshot 1. This is a post by Anthony Agüero on his page saying, and there's a picture of the lawyer that it was in the video that Oscar took. It says, "These are the Americans lawyers that are in Tijuana coaching migrants. Make these traitors go viral." And then it says the organization name is Al Otro Lado. Can anyone get their names or get identities on them? I would love to find out the names. I just wanted to ask you real quick, Oscar, have you gotten any IDs on any of the people that were there?
No, it's so difficult to get them.
Yeah.
They hide so well. It's just so difficult. And the only thing is that we have this is the only answer that we have to investigate on our own, Cindy, and to ask our fans and our followers if they can do their research. There's a lot of followers that we got that they're really loyal and they really want to fight this. And I suggest to the fans and the lawyers of Cindy and Duke, and to the fans and the followers of Border Network News, please help us out. Try to find a suggestion and try to find something of information of these characters that we are showing at screen.
Yeah, because, Nicole Ramos is very public, and so she's putting her face out there. She came on this post, and she responded to Anthony. She says, "Hi, Anthony." This is screen. These are all the pictures of the lawyers that you see on screen. This is Nicole Ramos. She says, "Hi, Anthony."
Can we make a pause?
Yes.
These people, really, how can you reply to somebody that is just accused you that you are, you're trading your own country, and you reply by "Hi, Anthony"?
I know, right? Oh no,
my God.
She's trying to be very diplomatic here. She says, "You failed to do your homework." Aha.
Oh my God.
Al Otro Lado is a nationally recognized, award-winning binational legal services organization serving deported persons and refugees in the border region for over 7 years. Pause. Okay, I want to talk to you about this. I have questions for you. Before we go any further, I want to point out that on my show about Nicole Ramos and Al Otro Lado, I used her profile picture post in which she says that she started Al Otro Lado 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So how did these other 3 years come? Where did they come from? I don't know. But I showed you in her own words that she said that she just moved to California 4 years ago and started Al Otro Lado. The second thing I want to address is that she says they are binational. In order to be binational, they would have to be registered in Mexico as an organization and have an office there. And they claim in articles, which I have shown you here on my show, they claim they do have an office in Tijuana and that they have been attacked and threatened with killing them, with kidnapping them in this office in Tijuana. Do you know of any such office that they have in Tijuana where they are operating? Is there a sign that says Al Otro Lado Binational Tijuana office?
I went by to that place a
Yeah.
long time ago. I went by to that place, and there's no sign.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sign. That probably they made up a place, they took a picture, and that's it. I don't know actually, but Cindy, if they had, the evidence of them being over here, why are they doing all the process and all the illegal stuff in the United States? There's a lot of things that they're doing over here illegally, and a lot of the things they're not doing in their office, and their office is nowhere. They don't have an office. There's non-existent office. It's just a picture that they put out there. It is. I haven't seen no office. I heard about an address. I went by there. There's none office.
There's no
And if
sign.
they put up an office, they're going to find a way to, pay off so they can register it after a million trillion years. There's no office in me.
And I want to add that the pastor from Agape Church told me when they went to file this legal complaint I showed you right now on my show about the fraud committed by Al Otro Lado in these fake marriages, the Procuraduría said Al Otro Lado is not registered as a business or anything in Mexico. That's what they were told. So I don't know why I don't know why this woman is lying and telling you they have binational, because just because you have workers in Mexico walking around telling people we're from Al Otro Lado, that does not make you binational. Okay, go ahead.
It's exactly like the shelter that is in Playas de Tijuana.
Right.
They claim outside that it says a shelter, but when the police department or regulations goes in there, they take the sign off and they say that it's a private house. It's exactly the same thing. They are so ridiculous. They are.
These are like the criminals in the Scooby-Doo cartoons that wear the masks.
They are like that.
They change their mask. Okay. Then she says, I continue with the craziness. She says, so you're a bit late to the party. Oh, sick burn, Nicole. Then she says, most of the time we spend telling migrants that the U.S. immigration detention system is a hellish place, that the legal system is draconian, and there is no entitlement to a lawyer, and the challenges of actually winning a case, even when the claim is meritorious for factors such as which immigration court the case is ultimately placed. Okay, let me pause there. First of all, I don't believe that a person who is talking to thousands of people, that a group, Al Otro Lado, working with these other lawyers groups and volunteers that are telling these people they have a right to seek asylum in the U.S. They have a right to seek asylum in the U.S. They don't say, every time I've heard them, Oscar, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if you heard something different in Tijuana. Because every time I hear these people talk, they say, you have the right to seek asylum. And somebody says, well, by any means necessary is telling these migrants, is giving them these flyers that says, cross illegally. It's your right to cross illegally. What do you think about that, Al Otro Lado lawyers? And the Al Otro Lado lawyers said, well, we disagree with by any means necessary. We don't tell people to cross illegally. But you know what? They are right. They are right. It is the right of everyone to seek asylum, even from within the U.S. So explain to me how that is not advocating for people to break the law when you are defending lawbreakers.
It's this loophole that they found, they're taking so much advantage of it. Oh my God, so much advantage. The violence and delinquency in Honduras went down 25% since they started the caravan. Why? Because all the violence and delinquency is in our country now.
They're exporting it.
Yeah, they're exporting it.
Number one export.
It's so ridiculous that I have said this 70,000 million times, and I'm going to say it again. Tijuana is the number one city of violence and delinquency in the world. We got 4 on the top 5. We got 5 on the top 10, and is the country that has more cities on the top 50 with 15. America is on number 4 with 4 cities. Number 2 is Venezuela. Number 3 is Brazil. And America is number 4. Guess where Honduras is? On number 24. How in the hell are you coaching these people to tell the immigration officer this is why all the cases are exactly the same? I'm running away from the gangs. My brother got killed. My mother got kidnapped. The gangs are taxing us. It's all exactly the same reason. So it is a complete lie, Cindy. It is a complete lie. Yes, they're suffering. Yes, but welcome to my world. That's the way it is. You don't see me at the door claiming asylum. You don't see me yelling, hey, I'm the number one in the world, it's Tijuana, and I'm afraid for my life, I'm running away. Al otro lado, what can you do? Seek asylum, you're number one, and you have more the advantage of everybody else. You don't see us doing that. Why? Because it's illegal. It's illegal to do that, to cross searching a loophole to the United States. This is a lie. They're saying that they're all families, Cindy. It's not all families. It's the majority is men with children. Men with children. And if there's families, a lot of them are fixed. How? Over there in the South. Pedro, Maria, this is your son Juan. Juan is not accompanied by. You're going to take him. What? I don't want to. Yes, you're going to. That's a family. Get in there. It is like that. It is like that. Some families, yes, I admit, they're suffering. A lot of them, Cindy. A lot. And I see that it is sad that these people go through so much on their way to the south, to the north. They suffer a lot. But it's not our responsibility, Cindy. And that responsibility, the one that is taking all the responsibility to put it out there and to say that we are unfair and it is the federal government is so unfair and the ICE agencies that they're treating them real bad. They're not giving them food. The pregnant women are sleeping and the floor with the plastic bag. Why in the hell the pregnant women is over here? Why she's crossing pregnant to the United States? Why are kids not unaccompanied to the border of the north? Why are, there's 60 million in poverty over here, Cindy, in my country. Mm-hmm. There's 28 million in critical condition. They wish they had a piece of bread like the ones that they have. They wish they had a plastic to put on their back so they can sleep. I've seen people sleep in caves on the other side, on the side of the freeway. I've seen a lot of things, kids sleeping on tunnels. These people are running away from something that we already know. And Mexicans, a lot of Mexicans, we are not like that. We're going to stay right here and fight for what is right, Cindy. We're not going to be like Otro Lado. That is the one that is taking the responsibility of putting it out there because it's one of the organizations of a lot of them that they're putting out there that Mexico has been unfair.
Yep.
Number one, that Mexico has been mistreating the immigrants. Mm-hmm. Number two, that Tijuana is a racist city.
Yep.
Number three, that the U.S. government is mistreating the immigrants. Number four, that President Trump shouldn't build a wall and they don't need a wall and they don't need security and it should be open borders for everybody.
Yep.
Number five, those are the organizations that they don't want no law whatsoever.
Yep. And let me just point out something. Those 5 points that you made are the things that really motivated me to expose these people because I am a Mexican American. I don't like to hear lies about my country of origin, my people. I don't like to see that they are exploited and basically pooped upon. That is what these American activists are doing while they are hosted in Mexico. They are lying about Mexico and they are making us look in Mexico like they're oppressive, racist. And let me just say, in this post, this woman is saying over and over again that they are actually telling the migrants all of the horrible truth about the detention system, the legal system, and everything that's going to happen to them. If that's true, I would like an explanation as to why over and over and over again in videos that I have seen in this country, in media, the most recent of which was under that bridge in El Paso, where they're interviewing women and their children and their families, and they're crying and they're saying, nobody told me anything about this. Nobody told me that this could happen. If somebody told me that this will happen to me, I would never even have come. Why are so many people over and over saying, if somebody would have told me, I would not have even have come?
That's exactly right.
I don't see a whole bunch of people saying, listen, I knew exactly what was going to happen to me. I don't care that I knew this. I was going to do it anyway because the conditions in my country are so horrible. I would prefer this. That is not something I am hearing. I haven't even heard it once, Oscar. Not even once.
You know, there was a surprise, and I wanted to do something in a movement, but I stopped because it kind of like it's going to backfire on America. So I stopped. I'm going to be open about it.
Yeah.
I went to the Agape shelter and I started telling every immigrant, do you know about Canada? That Canada is in the International Pact of Immigration.
Right.
First of all, Oscar, what is the International Pact of Immigration? They don't even know why is their purpose. Are they're moving?
Wow.
They don't even know who put that purpose and what kind of pact or what kind of laws they're under. They don't know anything. So they said, oh my God, Canada, yes, Canada. So I wanted to create a movement to go to Canada. Now, there's on top of where you live, there's no wall.
Nope.
So it's going to backfire on America. If I start sending people to Canada, they're going to come back and they're going to invade the United States by the north, and we're getting invaded from the south. So the point is that they don't know nothing, Cindy.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing. I asked a lot of them, do you know that you can claim asylum in your own country? No, if they should have told me that, I wouldn't be right here sleeping on a tent.
Right.
That is how they move them. It's a product. It's money. It's human money. It's human trafficking now. It's 21st century how to make money with humans.
The pastor who has seen hundreds, if not thousands of people go through his shelter on a regular basis, migrating toward the north, who has dealt with the lawyers of Al Otro Lado, who calls those lawyers unscrupulous and has told me they are banned from his shelter. In fact, he has told the migrants at the Agape shelter, why don't you get good lawyers that are not being investigated by several governments and Interpol? Maybe you should find a better lawyer. If you have those lawyers, you cannot meet with them in my shelter. They're not allowed to come here. So this pastor, he told me when he talks to his migrants from his shelter, he has told me that he knows for a fact that Nora Phillips, the woman that was deported from Mexico, she was going to meet the caravan that was traveling through Guadalajara. Why? Why are they traveling inland in Mexico to go meet with caravans? Why are there lawyers all the way in Guatemala? Why are there lawyers on the border with Mexico and Guatemala? You know why, folks? Because they're going to tell them why they need to come. What are their options? What are their possibilities? If this is true, what Nicole Ramos is writing here, that they are telling people all of the truth, none of this would be happening. I just wanted to point that out. Now, let me continue reading what else she says here. She says, all of our materials are modeled after materials approved by the U.S. Department of Justice for use in legal orientation programs. Legal orientation programs are not the practice of law because they provide information, not legal advice. Okay, let me stop there. First of all, we have evidence that you are providing legal advice, that you are working on cases, and I have shown on my show that they give each client a little piece of paper with their file numbers. And also, they give them access to a website on the internet where they can go check up on the progress of their cases. If these are not their clients and they're not working on these legal cases, why does it say on their website that they are raising funds to represent these migrants? I need to have an explanation to that question. What are your thoughts about this?
They don't have an answer, Cindy. They are not going to have an answer. Like it's exactly the same answer that this woman that I told her that they making fake marriages and it was a celebration. They're going to tell you, yeah, it is a website to check on your process. They're going to, make a smokescreen about everything.
Yeah.
It's like the people that they're coaching them. One Cuban lady said that they are organizing their thoughts. They use this, vocabulary to make it look like they're helping, but they're not. They're crossing illegally people to the United States. They're just making it look pretty, but in other language, it's trafficking.
They're rearranging their brain words. That let's just invent a new way of saying what they're doing. But come on, folks. I mean, we didn't just fall off the turnip truck yesterday. We can see what you're doing. And it doesn't matter if the materials you got are modeled after the U.S. Justice Department, who, by the way, Nicole Ramos and Al Otro Lado are suing the government of the United States. They're suing the president. They're suing the director of Homeland Security. And they brag about it all the time. This is what else they have to say.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck with that. But they're raising money, Oscar. See, that's the thing that you don't think about. They're raising.
Don't say that.
They are raising money for this.
Oh my God!
And they're gonna get it.
Of course they are.
They are going to get it.
I've seen this before. It says we are a nonprofit organization not paid by
They
George.
just take advantage of people.
Yeah, they say they're not paid by George Soros.
Oh my God.
I've heard this a lot before. There are a lot of different organizations funding them besides Open whatever society or whatever it is, which is funded by George Soros. But I will say this. I don't think that we know clearly what all of their funding sources are, because there is a huge money laundering scheme going on here with umbrella organization raising funds for Al Otro Lado through GoFundMes and other forms of donations, so that you can never really see where all of the money is coming from and who is donating. I don't think that's very transparent. I think that that's something that needs to be looked at very carefully.
I don't really know, Cindy, like right now, that is not only the fault of the Mexican government. Really, it's not. We have to be honest with each other and no feelings attached.
Right.
To all the great American people and great nationalists, we have to realize that the United States government is going with it. And a lot of people that work in the government from the left party, they are in it a lot because they know what is going on and how they're raising money to take advantage of these people. So the question is, why are getting stopped? Why they're not stopping this funding? Why there's not a private investigation to where the funds go? Why they're not private investigators? Why is not the FBI in there? Why is not, people that they are doing the job of investigating if it really is $40,000 for a legal case of, this marriage that is going to be claiming asylum? Why is it 40,000? It should be 8,000. Why are there not people there? Why are they not checking that?
Well,
that's the main purpose.
Let me tell you one of the reasons why, okay? Because as you have seen them, they exploit loopholes. Let me tell you another loophole of my country, the United States.
There's another one.
There's another one. Yes, there is. Did you know, for example, that in the United States, less than 3% of money laundering cases are pursued? Yeah. I've always said this because I studied the law, but you can tell me
what?
You can tell me this is illegal, but if there is no enforcement, if there is no one enforcing the law and punishing for the crime being broken, then it's almost like it doesn't exist. The people that are using GoFundMes and online donation platforms like those to collect money by the millions are aware of the fact that there is very little prosecution and enforcement of money laundering schemes in this country. They're rarely pursued and only in very rare, high-profile cases. So that is something you should know, Oscar, because I think that is what they are exploiting.
Oh, my God. I wish I had that over here.
Right?
Oh my God, that is a gigantic loophole.
It's
Cindy.
a huge, huge loophole. And I think it's something that we're going to have to change. That has to be reformed. Ever since these protesters came here and did the same thing in North Dakota, many of the ones that are now with the caravans and supporting the caravans in the Caravan Support Network, we know that there is a money laundering scheme going on, and no one seems to be stopping it. But let me just tell you something else that really bothers me about Nicole's post, because she said this more than once. She said it on Twitter. She said it on her own Facebook, and she keeps saying it. I heard a lot of the Standing Rock phonies, the activists that were here, crying around, saying the same thing, saying something very similar. This is what she said. She said that they're not rich. They don't get paid per immigrant reached, because if that was true, she would be filthy rich. And she would own more than 2 pairs of shoes and a 21-year-old car. By the way, she said that on the day that you confronted her when she went to Mexico, to Tijuana, to the university to speak, on that day, they towed her 21-year-old car from her office. How do you feel about this poor, wretched Nicole Ramos with only 2 pairs of shoes? Don't you want to take up a collection for poor Nicole Ramos? She has a 21-year-old car, and she only has 2 pairs of shoes, Oscar. She's so poor. You buy this?
Ay, Dios mío. So they towed her car when she was over here.
When she had to take a Uber. She had to take an Uber
and
to her.
she's trying to make me look like I was the one that, said something to tow her car or something like that.
No. She was just saying that she had a very bad day. She had her car towed. She had to go in an Uber.
What do you expect, Nicole? What do you expect? First of all, you come into my city that is practically kind of like your city too. I don't know if you live over here or over in San Diego. They have told me that you live over here, and a lot of people tell me that you live over there, or that you have lived over here and you lived over there. We know what kind of feeling it is when it's a person from Tijuana that loves a lot San Diego. I'm that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy that lives in Tijuana, and I'm in love with San Diego. So you come to Tijuana in a conference and the biggest campus that exists in whole Baja California to talk about immigrants and to talk about how disgustingly the American government has treated immigrants and how bad Mexico has treated immigrants. And not only that, you said Tijuana, that it has treated bad the immigrants. Now, what do you expect? Do you expect to people back you up? Do you know Jorge Ramos, Nicole? Do you know how he talked bad about Tijuana? Do you know what Mexican people think about Jorge Ramos now?
Yeah.
That he betrayed his own country, that he betrayed us, the Tijuana citizens. He betrayed the mayor of Tijuana, calling him racist and calling us everybody racist. You're suffering for just a little bit. Come on, you have more than that. It's just exaggerating, Cindy.
Mm-hmm,
but these people really, I can't stop, Cindy. I can't stop laughing because I know how they are.
I just don't
know how they try to put it out there. They are giving everything they can to everybody in humanity.
Right. I've seen it over and over again. Lolly B was making videos asking for money for the unaccompanied minors, and please be a sponsor for these people. I can't be a sponsor, she says. I can't be a sponsor because I live out of my car. I'm just a lowly activist. I don't have anything. Meanwhile, her father is a psychologist teaching at an Ivy League school in the United States. I don't believe these people for a minute. These people say they're all homeless. They all have nothing. They're just doing this out of the goodness of their heart.
Can I ask you something, Cindy? She's an American citizen.
Right.
She makes dollars.
Yeah.
That's almost 3 times the advantage of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining. I think to God that I have 2 pairs of shoes and another pair of shoes, an extra pair of shoes that I got in my dress room.
Mm-hmm.
Thank to God that I have a roof and I have the place to eat and I have my family that is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it out there that you don't have a pair of shoes doesn't mean that you're giving everything.
Yeah.
People are, you can say whatever you want, that you don't have not even something to wear to work, something. If you don't have something, it doesn't mean that you don't have nothing and you're giving it all away. It's just a false statement. Really, I don't believe her, Cindy.
Also,
Nothing.
also she said most of the people that go to Al Otro Lado, that go to help them, are volunteers. Let me explain to you the difference, because I looked at labor law. In fact, our law firm here in North Dakota actually sued the Department of Labor to make it do its job in many cases where there had been abuses of labor laws. So I know a little bit about this, okay? If you call yourself a volunteer, okay, you cannot have any set hours. How does Oscar El Blue Ramirez predict exactly where these people are going to be, what time, where to find them? If they didn't have a constant schedule, if they didn't have responsibilities, if they weren't realizing work, then how could Oscar find them and videotape them? How could people consistently know what they are doing? That's not a volunteer. Also, if you are receiving anything in kind, whether it's a donation, your lunch, your hotel rooms, your travel expenses, whatever, you are not a volunteer. And finally, and third, and most importantly, you would not need to lie to Customs and Border Enforcement telling them you are on vacation in Mexico if you were not working. Because the truth is that you need to go through the process of requesting a work visa in Mexico, like everyone else that wants to work there legally. I know, right? You it's a process. It takes money and it takes time to request a work visa. These people, just like they're teaching the asylum seekers to skip to the front of the line and jump over the border wall so that they can get asylum right away before the ones that are trying to do it legally, they're jumping to the front of the line, lying to Border and Customs Enforcement, coming into Mexico and saying, we're here for a vacation, while they're coaching people from the caravan. They're working, folks. They're not volunteers. They're not volunteers. That's something you've been asking them a lot, haven't you? You've confronted them about this volunteering.
Yes. It's not have been, this is not the only time, that I've been in the Chaparral. When they were at the shelters over here, I was too blindsided to not realize what is going on, because I was too worried about the people that they were living on the street, the citizens of Tijuana. But a lot of police officers, I know a lot of them over there, and he used to tell me, no, Oscar, they're volunteers, but they did not look volunteers. So they were volunteering it's the same people, Cindy. It's the same people. There was one time that we were right there last week. There was Ben Burke, Juan Paloma, Anthony, and myself. We were right there. I think that it was 2 weeks ago or last week. And we were right there. And Paloma's husband, that he's been since recording with her and walking around behind her. He's always behind her. He goes blue. That guy right there, he's been here since the caravan started. So those two guys, Anthony and myself, we followed them to the taxi and we questioning them. Where are you going? We know what you're doing. Where are you going? We know what you're doing. And we did a little bit of research, and there's some photographs that I have that I will give you later. And he's right there in November and in December. So these are people that they are claiming that they're volunteers. They are not volunteers. They are working. They are taking advantage of the process and the loopholes of the United States. They're taking advantage of immigrants. They're taking advantage of people. They're playing with their minds and telling them cross illegally, but you need to donate to all the American people, the good American people, to donate, because touch your heart. This immigrant family doesn't have a place to live. I'm not talking about the family. I'm talking about this people, that they're disgusting people that are taking advantage of the family and giving up, a GoFund or whatever their reunited money to supposedly create an account for these people, and it's not. They're working, Cindy, all the time. They have been working. Today, I passed through there, and it was the same Russian guy. If you when later on when you see that video by yourself, when I'm walking and I say, it's the Russian guy. It's a guy with a hat of the Yankees, and if you rewind that tape that before she talked to me, there's a guy that is talking in a weird language, and he walks by real quick, and there's an image. When I turn the camera, that's the Russian guy. The Russian guy was today right there. The lawyer, the tall one that I confronted, the three of them that I confronted, again, he was right there. It's the same people. They're not volunteering. They're working. If you're a volunteer, what are you going to live at? Volunteer air? You're not going to live at volunteer air. It is so ridiculous. They are working.
They want to lie to your face, and they do it with a straight face. I love the way that you confronted this woman, and when you showed her that she's a sinvergüenza, and you're like, no, I know what you're doing. She just walked away. But listen to this Nicole Ramos defend what they are doing as legal. Let me parse the edges of what she's telling you. She says, advising someone to present themselves to U.S. immigration authorities at a port of entry in accordance with U.S. immigration, in accordance with U.S. federal law, is not illegal. Indeed, it is the legal process. The fact that you have not figured this out yet is surprising. Now, let me just explain something to you. Advising someone to present themselves to the U.S. immigration authorities at a port of entry in accordance with U.S. federal law is not illegal, is true, but it is also very likely unethical. I am not a lawyer, but I have worked for many lawyers, and I have known many lawyers, and usually they don't work for free. I mean, I know people are always looking for a pro bono lawyer, and I know a lot of lawyers, but finding one that works for free is like finding a unicorn. If you meet one, let me know. Oh, wait. Now suddenly there are hundreds of them? Suddenly there are hundreds of people that are willing to give away their work for free? Please don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. I'm not stupid. I've been working in this field for decades. I've never seen anything like this. I don't believe you. Second of all, I have never, ever, ever met an attorney that is willing to take a case they know will lose. Yes, they want to get paid. They want to take cases, especially when somebody comes in and says, I have money. I want to sue this place or that place. But lawyers know when they're going to win and when they're going to lose. And if they're going to lose, if they know that the chances are 97% that you are going to lose, and yes, those are the real statistics for asylum cases. Only about 3% are granted. That has always been the way. So, if you know you're going to lose a case, why would you advise someone to present themselves, even if it's legal, at a port of entry when you know they're going to lose?
The key word. You said the key word right there. The first one. What is it?
Why would you advise them to present themselves?
Right again.
Why would you advise them?
Stop right there, Cindy. What?
Advise.
Okay. Oh.
That's what she wrote. Those are her words. That's her words.
So you're telling people how to cross, huh?
That's right.
Wow. Thank you, Nicole. Isn't that the job of the Institutional National of Immigration? That's what they're here for the immigrants. You're not supposed to be here coaching, advising, telling, saying Gesundheit. Go work to the country in the United States. Advising. Look at all these words that you're using. Organizing their thoughts.
Advising.
It was a celebration.
Right. And in the paragraph above, or this is all just one run-on sentence, one very long paragraph. But in the part above, she said, "We are not working. This is a legal orientation program. This is like know your rights. This is not a legal service. Then later she uses the word advising. Advising is part of giving legal advice. She just said right there, legal orientation programs are not the practice of law, but they provide information, not legal advice. Then later on she says, giving legal advice, advising someone to present themselves isn't illegal. Which is it? Make up your mind. Are you not providing legal advice, or are you providing legal advice? Because you wrote the words. And finally, like I said, when you know the outcome, when you are criticizing ICE, when you are criticizing the detention centers and telling people how horrible, how draconian, how inhumane, why are you filling U.S. detention facilities to capacity? That's fake progressivism. That's fake support for people that you are hurting. And lastly, and I thought this was interesting, I think she made a little bit of a threat. I think she made a little bit of a threat here to Anthony. She said also, as a former federal public defender, I am well versed in federal criminal law. So if you think that internet harassment or stalking does not trigger federal or extraterritorial jurisdiction, I encourage you to test the theory. She's basically saying if you continue to report on what she is doing, if you continue to report and do your jobs as reporters on what she is doing in your country, in Mexico, you may find out very soon, you or Anthony may find out very soon, the extrajudicial, extraterritorial federal laws that this activities that you are doing may trigger. Sounds like she may be making a veiled threat there. What do you think about that? Would you like to respond on behalf of Border Network News?
Ooh. Oh my God. We have evidence that you made a false marriage. We got the immigrant that it went today to declare to the judge that you falsificated a marriage. We have the document of your organization that falsificated a marriage. I have on video one of your people that admitted that it was a false marriage and it is a celebration now.
And
what the hell are you talking about? What do you think is going to lose? These people, really, Cindy. These people.
Yep. Well, I think I'm not going to go through more of these, but I just wanted to say, I wanted to break that down because, you know, she continued fighting and fighting and fighting on Anthony Agüero's post, on Anthony's page, trying to defend herself like she was trying to defend herself on Twitter. I think está sintiendo los pasos en la azotea.
Yes, I know.
Because I've never seen a lawyer, okay? A lawyer, Oscar. This is a person that's supposed to be serious. This is a person that's supposed to be professional. Not. And they're arguing with Americans, with people from Mexico on Anthony's page about what she is doing right, what she feels is her right to do, and her organization's right.
You know, she can fight. Oh, she can fight all she wants. She can do whatever she wants. But the only thing they're malpracticing. That's what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Malpracticing. No, I don't know how to say it.
Yep, it's malpractice. That's how you would say that. That's the correct word.
Malpracticing the law.
Mm-hmm.
They know that. They know that. We have evidence of them crossing illegally children. We have evidence of them the fake marriage. We have evidence of them coaching people how to cross in search for the loophole. We have evidence of that. That is not something that I'm going to be accused of. It's something that you're doing. And if you some way find out a way to be on a court with me and say, oh, Mr. Judge, he's accusing me of a fake marriage. Oh, okay, Oscar, here's the proof. Okay, oh, so you're making it. Okay, you're crossing with a loophole. Yes, we're crossing. Okay, so you're doing it. Okay, so It's not something that is hidden.
I
It's not the Da Vinci Code.
I have
You're doing it.
I have a question for you, Oscar. Are
Yes.
you or other people from Border News Network on the American investigation list of people being investigated right now by Homeland Security? Are you on that list? Because Nicole Ramos is on that list.
I am not. I am not. And I was like, I was surprised. Well, that list got me into some trouble this week, Cindy.
What happened? What
Oh
happened?
my God. Oh my God. That list got me into a deep fire hole.
Wow.
But really, this is the difference. We are trying to help a cause. And the cause is I have so much evidence of what I'm defending. And what I'm defending is I am against illegal migration. I am against the International Pact of Immigration. I am against the invasion. I'm against the killings of officers, the raping of our women. They're stealing, shoplifting, trafficking children, trafficking drugs. I'm against all that. If you're migrating, like the pact says, peacefully, documented, with a purpose, come on in
Right.
and knock on the door.
Sure.
But on the other hand, like they're doing, you're going to get a lot of me because you're damaging my country. And I don't know if she's Mexican. I don't know how it doesn't hurt her, what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it doesn't hurt her because I see a lot of Hispanics in San Diego, in California, in Arizona, in Texas, on the northeast, on the north of the United States, and all of them are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, they say that is an invasion, that our country's getting invaded. And she's a talented lawyer, I might say, and I don't understand why there's no feelings attached to our country. Why she's letting everybody walk over us. And not only that, defending the fact that there has been more deported Mexicans and Hispanics in the history in the Obama administration. And I never heard about her when it was that situation over here in Tijuana.
Yeah.
I never saw her at the park where they had immigrants with no medical care, no food, no roof, no bathrooms, no nothing. There was no legal advice. There was no lawyers working there. There was nobody helping them. Oh, but they're addicts. I don't care that they're deported Mexicans. They want to go back. Try to help them out in their case. Why? Because nobody's going to pay for it. So it's not volunteers. Let's get that out of our head. It's not volunteers. It's work. It's money. Everybody's making a profit, and El Otro Lado is getting richer.
Yep. Amen. And that was the last word by Oscar Ramirez. Seriously, thank you so much for elucidating us and for talking through all of this, because it has been something constantly happening at the border. We're going to keep bringing you more border updates from Oscar El Blue Ramirez from Border Network News. Also, you can find him at Abusados. You can find him at Oscar El Blue. You can find him at Border Network News. I'm going to drop all of those, or Nemo will, in the comments of this show, so you can go find him, follow them, get the news directly from Oscar. He's a fantastic bilingual reporter from the city of Tijuana. Thank you so much for all you do, Oscar, for being with us tonight, and I hope to have you back here real soon.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you so much. And hi to everybody. Thank you, Minnesota. Thank you, Duke. Thank Nemo. And with the last word, Cindy, of one great leader and what great president, one of the greatest presidents that has been and existed in our country. El respeto al derecho ajeno
es la paz.
La paz.
Es la paz.
The respect for other humans' right is the peace. Mm-hmm. I understand your right. I understand your urgency. I understand that you're migrating because you're suffering. And if I understand that, please understand me too.
Mm-hmm. We have to make sure that Mexico is respected in all of this. Mexico is the host country. Mexico is the one that's going to be left to clean up the mess of this pact, the suffering that this pact is creating. And all of those people that are going to get deported when they don't get asylum, guess where they're going to go? You're not going to end up seeing all those people flown all the way back to Central America. Oh, no. They're going to be dumped right over the border. And Mexico is going to have to deal with their transportation, with their housing, with their education. This is not fair. And the American activists involved in this need to understand they are causing backlash on the topic of immigration. They are regressing the issue decades. I've been working on this topic for all my life, and these people are doing more harm than good. We need to be talking about serious immigration reform here in the United States, and instead we are stuck on stupid because of the actions of these fake activists. And we're going to keep exposing it here on A Mexican Crossing Lines. Thanks for being with us tonight, and keep it tuned to 88.1 FM. Good night, folks.